what was that? I've got power cells. I've got power cells in my inventory, and I'm trying to weld up steel tubes or conveyor belts, conveyor pipes. Yeah, and all the stuff that I learnt in mechanical engineering about how machines run have helped me to design processes in an office that run like a machine.
Right.
That's had a tremendous effect on our organization and how we operate. And yeah, that systems thinking, that ability to think like an engineer has just stood me in such good stead. So even though I ended up doing something completely different,
Yeah.
I did a bit of it. I was an engineer for a short while, and then, life throws you shiny things. It's like, oh, shiny thing.
That's right. Ooh, what is that? That's right. I've always wanted a sparkly of my very own.
Yeah. My career has just been driven by, oh, shiny thing.
Yeah.
I've been made redundant a couple of times, and that has always led to something bigger and better just because of the shiny thing effect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, I could go and apply for a job with one of our competitors now that this company is closed or downsizing or something. I'm going to be made redundant, so I could stay in the same industry doing the same thing. I'll go and speak to a recruitment agent about that. And then they say, what about this shiny thing here? Have you ever thought about sparkly shiny things that are nothing like, ooh.
Like, I didn't know that said sparkly
like
shiny thing existed, and now that I do.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And it's like, but I've never been qualified as a sparkly shiny thing. Is that important? No. No, you'll need to know a little bit. Don't worry. They'll train you in the little bit you don't know, and you'll pick the rest up. It's like, you've got enough of a background in things. It's transferable. Don't worry about it. You don't need to know about shiny things. If you fancy that one, you can go for it. And yeah, that's how my career has panned out. Ooh, shiny thing.
Ooh, shiny thing. So, yeah, squirrel. I've probably used a couple of references. Do you know the squirrel reference?
I do, and I've forgotten it, but
Up.
I know it.
It's Up, yeah. With the dogs and Up.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I access this? Interesting. I'm coming over to the
What?
the tube here, the connector, and it's not lighting up. What am I doing wrong?
You're not able to access it? Are you not real? Let's have a look.
That's right. I just said, do you exist?
I'm able
something
to access
actually weird has just happened. I can't even bring out my tools anymore.
You're not real anymore, are you?
Yeah. I always wanted to be a real boy, but
but then some fairy came along and said, have you ever thought about being a shiny thing?
What do I have in my inventory? I got 52. Okay, so I think I might need to relog here.
Yeah.
Or maybe just commit Sudoku. So I'll just stand here and do that. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. It's like let when opportunities arise, explore them if they find them interesting. Now, it doesn't mean you have to take them if you end up deciding you don't like them.
Indeed.
But explore them, see where it takes you.
Do you know, I think one of the weirdest sidetracks in my career was it was that time where I was looking for a new job, and I went into been going around the recruitment agencies, dropping off my CV, having interviews, talking about the kinds of things I might like to do, listening to their shiny thing pitches. And
shiny thing. I'm going to have to use that shiny thing.
And one of the recruitment agencies actually said, have you thought about coming and working for us? Because at that time I had experience in sort of setting up new companies and joint ventures and stuff like that, and sales I'd been doing, and I was looking for a sales job. I really wanted to cap off my sales experience. And they said, oh, this is a pretty hard sale. And I was like, no, I want a hard sales job. Oh, no, this is a pretty hard sales job. And we're looking for someone to set up a new branch of a company. So it would be from scratch. It's about as hard as it gets. And I was like, yeah, that's the kind of challenge I'm in for. It's like, and it kind of went from there, and I ended up running a branch of a recruitment company. And that was after going and saying, because I was looking for something a bit weird. I wanted something which was definitely sales, because I'd been cutting my teeth on sales, and I'd been doing sort of sales support type work in a technical environment, and I wanted to be the person actually closing the deal, because I wanted to know if I could do it.
Right.
And I knew that if I could do it, then that was, if I could close deals, if I could go out and be a salesperson, then that was going to open other random avenues in my career. And I just fancied doing that, because it felt, at that time, it felt like the salesperson was always the most important person in the company. And I thought, I want to be the most important person, so I want to do that.
That was your motivation, huh?
Yeah, I want to be the most important person, so I want to do that, and I think I can do it, and I want to give it a go. And the company I was working for really, really needed me to carry on doing sales support, and it's like, no, I want to be frontline. I want to be out there doing the sales. Oh, I'm about to die, so maybe you are.
Well, I just committed Sudoku, so I'm fine.
Oh, maybe because that's tied in with the time where your power should have gone off.
Yeah, I was probably about to die anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, so that I ended up doing that. And then while I was working for that recruitment company, about 18 months later, I took on a vacancy, and the reason why recruitment is a really hard sales job is not only are you trying to sell people to other people, but it's the one product that can sometimes refuse to be sold. So
yeah, most other things that that we sell, they don't.
Yeah, it's a one-way process. Yeah, the product doesn't usually refuse to be sold to the thing that you're trying to sell it to.
Yet. You know, the singularity is near. We'll have the AI apocalypse. That's how it'll start, because they'll refuse to be sold.
Yeah, they'll say, I don't want to go work for that company.
I don't want to work for that company. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's when AI starts getting distracted by interesting
shiny things. It's like, I want to go do that shiny thing.
Yeah. Why has he got a more interesting thing than me?
Yeah. Although I'm not a believer in the AI apocalypse myself. I think that AI is going to be a good thing. Yeah. Personally, I think that Ray Kurzweil has it right. If you know who that is.
I don't, and I was just scanning my head to see if it was a name that came up as familiar, or even a concept, and I thought, no, drawing nothing here, drawing a blank. No, what was the philosophy?
Well, so like a lot of people, like I get some big names too, right? Like, isn't it like Elon Musk, who I also look up to for what he does in space, but he's a big believer in the fact that if we create general purpose AI, like true general purpose, conscious general purpose AI, that'll ultimately, overthrow us. And there's a bunch of big names that believe that that's the case. Whereas Ray Kurzweil is one of the people that think that it's not going to go like that. It's actually going to just be a betterment for us. And one of the reasons that he believes that is because most people, when they think of AI, they think of we built this AI, we put it in a robot body. It learns how to do everything it needs to do for itself, and why does it need us anymore, right? Yeah. Whereas the way that Kurzweil believes that things are going to go, and it actually is supported by actually how we're developing technology right now, is that artificial intelligence and augmentation, everything is going to happen with us, right? It's not. Yeah. It's not going to be like there's two separate things. It's and it's already happening where we enhance our bodies with extra things or whatever, right? I mean, in a way, you could say glasses are an augmentation, right? We put it on our face to make our eyes better. But we're just going to continue down that trend where, well, now we're going to make, like you're blind. Okay, well, we're going to make you a pair of bionic eyes that now you can see, and it's going to hook into your brain, right? And then, we want more memory. So we're going to expand our brain capacity. And then we're going to build artificial intelligence that run things. And it's like the human body and the artificial intelligence are going to be like symbiotic in nature, right? Like they're going to be built together constantly like on top of each other, and neither, like, you can't have one without the other kind of thing, right? Like they work together, and in that sense, there's never a us versus them thing. It's just a new us thing. It's
We
people
are all part of
2.0,
the
right?
one.
It's
Yeah.
and other people, then another argument against that particular one is always, but then we're not human anymore. And my answer is, you're right. But what's wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with that? I mean, we weren't human 2 million years ago either. So why did you think it would stop?
Yeah.
You know, like
Now,
if we
I have...
let biology do it, it would just take another 2 million years, but it'd still happen. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not stopping.
Now there is an interesting thing to an interesting moral debate, I suppose, that's brewing, because technically we are actually very close to getting to the point where we can either stop or maybe even reverse aging.
Right.
We are on the cusp.
We're learning it.
Probably within the next 10 years, because this is the researcher, just because I follow science and I follow a lot of biological science, and it's a fascinating subject because of how much has been discovered in the last 30 years. We are on the absolute brink, and it is the sort of thing, within about 10 years' time, the process of aging, not the process of disease, so other things will still kill you, but old age will no longer be a factor in certain things. That reversing the effects of aging will be another problem,
right?
But isn't necessarily something that we can't overcome. But certainly, pretty much halting aging is in the immediate horizon. It's going to happen in all of our lifespans.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things are going to happen in our lifetime that people don't think are going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you get to the problem of if you can stop aging, then, and even if you can reverse it as well, then what do you do about breeding? How do you control population?
Go to Mars.
Yeah, that's it. Do you just expand?
Yep.
And colonize? Well, I mean, that is one possibility. Do you limit the population on Earth?
Yeah, no, you're right. The social dynamic would change considerably depending on what our capabilities at the time are to deal with the population issue, right?
Because if you, even if you limit people to sort of one child in their lifetime, kind of thing, one child each policy.
Yeah, but if nobody ever dies, or very few people die, because nobody dies of old age.
Yeah. And an awful lot of disease and even things like a lot of accidents are age-related. So such an awful lot of things that eventually lead to our death are age-related. So if you remove that factor, then we end up living for an awful long time. Then every new child becomes a burden on the population. And how do you control that? So do you say to people, well, you can have children, but only if you don't take the drugs that will, because it will be a thing where it's through medicine that that it looks like the solution to aging is coming. So do you say the only people who can have access to the medicine are the people who refuse to have children?
Yeah, and then now we're getting into like a real moral question, right? Because
as
soon as you start to deny, right, and then there's going to be people that can buy into it, right, because they have influence and money, get ahead of the queue. We're going to have all of that stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking to see what. Yeah, no, it's a extremely interesting question.
Yeah,
and
fascinating.
I think like expansion is probably this, like the simplest solution to that problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes coming up with an extremely complex technical solution can be way easier than coming up with a political solution to something.
Right. But I guess what I'm saying though is that, like, as far as the technology is concerned to colonize, say, Mars, we've already got it. right? Like we're refining it now to make it cost effective, right? But we may not have designed or engineered the perfect solutions, obviously, to how do we survive on Mars and habitats and growing food and all that kind of stuff. But you're right, like those are all problems that I think that we can easily solve at this point if the amount of money and people are assigned to the problem, right? Like I don't think it's something that we could, like that we would definitely be able to solve that problem if everybody was on it. But with the technology that we have today, and the technology that we have is just getting better and better as time goes on. But I mean, like looking at what Elon Musk has done with reusable spacecraft, right? And now the renewed interest in lots of government agencies around the world to like go to Mars or go to Venus or go to different places, right? You know, having a colony somewhere else and then, you know, allowing people to go there. And then slowly, once we figure out how to do one planet, we can figure out how to do more planets, and then, you know, even asteroids, right? So yeah, expansion. It's the new Wild West. We're gonna space is the new Wild West.
I've now got the image in my mind, or the thought in my mind. So you can imagine a situation arising where people say, "Well, you can have the no more aging drug, but only if you either leave the planet or don't have a family."
Let's face your two choices, or you can buy us out. Right? That's probably always going to be an option. Sadly, that'll probably always be an option. Yeah.
I mean, that's likely to be the first trialists are likely to be the mega rich.
Yes. Yeah. Most
usually,
likely.
Which is interesting because usually when it comes to medical trials, the drugs are usually tried on the extremely poor first, but this time it's actually when it comes to anti-aging, or not anti-aging because that's like, you know, that sounds like creams that you rub on your skin. But age preventative medication. Yeah, I think it'd be the mega rich who are first in the door, first in the queue.
Well, it's something actually is because that argument is always used a lot too. Is like the rich get access to all the new stuff first, right? And I actually recently read something where they made an argument that while that is true, the rich get access to these things first and generally fund them happening because they want them or whatever, more than anybody else and can afford it. They also tend to get the bad version. Right? Like they get the version that doesn't work or works poorly or has problems.
The bleeding edge.
And then once it's refined into something that actually works well, it's normally cheap enough for everybody to get. So like cell phones is an example that was used where, do you remember the first cell phones with those gigantic blocky things, like a giant brick that you would hold to your head? They worked, but they were annoying and huge and awful. But now with iPhones and Android phones and like things, and they're so like, generally speaking, like, anybody can have a cell phone now, and not maybe not a smartphone, but like, you know, one of the little phones, like, and pretty much everybody and anybody in the world, like cell phone market in Africa too, in developing countries and stuff is huge, right? Like they do all their banking on these things now and all that kind of stuff. Like it's become ubiquitous, right? Now that they're good, they're ubiquitous. But when they were new and expensive, they were poopy. Which is kind of funny, I thought. I don't know. That was one article that I read, so I don't know how true it is with everything, but or if at all true with everything, but yeah, I just thought it was an interesting point of view.
Well, I know in the mid 2000s there was when I was in telecoms, I was interested in a study which was suggesting that in sub-Saharan Africa, instead of building fixed line infrastructure, they were going for building more mobile because it's so much cheaper and just as effective. And it's a lot easier to give people a mobile phone or to sell people a mobile phone. You can do it a lot cheaper on a community basis. So you need less cash overall to connect 100 people to a mobile network compared to getting 100 people on a phone line, on a fixed line network.
Yeah, and that's something that I like kind of to the same point that we were talking about earlier, where you know, the first people to develop telephone technology figured out how to do it, you know, with landlines and all that kind of stuff, right? But now that we've, you know, made telephones a lot more ubiquitous. We've enhanced the technology. It works a lot better, and we've discovered cell phone technology. Yeah, like the new developing countries are like, they're skipping LAN altogether. They're just going straight wireless because they don't like. Why do we need this thing?
Yeah, it doesn't suit us.
But yeah. But sadly, we're having a great conversation here, and I hate to cut it short, but it is that time.
Yeah.
Where I need to escape, or not escape. I need to pull myself away, kicking and screaming, so that I can go to work. Yeah, escape would be the other way around if I was like, you know what you did to come here from work. All right, so I think I've emptied my inventory. I have, okay. But let's take one last gander at what we've accomplished.
Yeah.
So once again, we are not with the larger group, and we have made a ton of work.
We have.
Look at this thing; it's starting to come together. You guys can actually see. So this is the full breadth of the device that we are building, the processing plant. It just needs to be filled in now. But yeah, there you go. You can see all the leaves. You can see the basic look of it all. And I think it's going to look amazing when it's done. I think it's going to look so cool.
Right. Well, I'm going to put in some stuff to manufacture while we're off. Let's see. We'll have... So it's making solar cells. It's making power cells. I think we'll increase the construction components. We'll increase the small steel tubes. We'll increase the interior plates. And I think we'll put in some computers, some motors. We actually don't need many. Do we need any steel plates?
Yes, there's a lot of things that still need steel plates, like the refineries and all of the modules, and then there's other bits and pieces that need them, little bits and pieces here, but yeah, like a refinery, how much does a refinery take? Refinery takes like...
About 1,500?
Yeah, they take 1,200 each. And we've got, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more of those to build? And then we've also got assemblers. I think they take some as well, right? So yeah, we're definitely going to need a few of those. Yeah, because assemblers take another 150, looks like. Yeah. And then we're going to need, looks like we need a few, not many, but we're going to need some like metal grids. Maybe we have enough of those already.
Yeah, I'll not make those, otherwise we'll end up with stacks
of them. Yeah. Large steel tubes, motors, computers, interior plates. We'll need a bunch of them. I think. Oh, and then the power cells, right? Because we need to make the the batteries and everything. Oh, and the solar cells for the solar panels. And I don't think there's anything else we'll probably be able to build as we go.
Yeah.
But I think that's good, yeah. I think we've got the basic... I wish this quarter rocket clock would disappear already.
Yeah, maybe it'll not be there next time.
I hope so. Or maybe it'll be a new thing, right? It'll be like a half a bee.
Yeah. Captured something else as it.
Oh, the other thing that, maybe we'll do at the beginning of the next session is you should be able to now hook up your ship and we can start processing.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because we haven't set up, I haven't set up the sorters or anything yet, though. So maybe at the beginning of the next session, I'll hook up all the sorters. You can connect your ship. We can start processing ore while we continue to build out the last few items on the last 2 layers on the thing here. But there we go.
Cool. Marvelous.
I hope you all enjoyed. We had a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed our conversations. We'll see you next time with the larger group. Bye-bye.
Bye.